actually legitimizing or is the concept of freedom and autonomy. I think that those are your main concepts, and if those are your main concepts, even if you understand those concepts within the limits of Islam, you are going to be a liberal modernist, because the core concept of Islam is not freedom or autonomy. So that's here. The core concept of Islam is actually worship and subjugation of your will, heteronomy, not autonomy. So I think it would be, let's look at it a bit. So in modernity, whether it's liberal modernity or, and in the context of Maulana Maududi, it's a liberal democracy or liberal modernity, because he's impressed by liberal modernity. He's not that much impressed by socialism. The core concept is freedom and autonomy. Freedom, autonomy, and autonomy is the specific conception of freedom, means self-determination. So obviously Maulana Maududi doesn't accept autonomy without limits. That's why he's a Muslim and not a pure liberal. But he does it, at least in his political discourse. Autonomy is the central value, and Islam plays the role of limiting autonomy. Limiting autonomy. So autonomy is at least practically speaking, autonomy is the core value. And what is limiting? That Islam is an instrument in that sense, or the vehicle of, or the formal limitation of that autonomy, or the disciplining of that autonomy. On the other hand, an Islamic revolutionary perspective, or Islamic perspective, is not autonomy but heteronomy, and specifically worship and surrender of your will to the will of, that's the center. And freedom and autonomy can be instrument of this core value, but they can't be core value. So Maulana Maududi has changed the whole configuration here, and all those people who, Islamic liberals. And Maulana Maududi, not in principle, but practically he is an Islamic liberal. Nobody can deny that. A lot of Islamic movements of Muslimin in Arab world is even worse. And Islamists, like even those who have deeper Islamic learning as well, like Muqtashin Hiti, for example, his kitab Azmatul Dusuriya fil Islam, or something like Fil Hazarat al-Islamiyya. If you read that, that's even worse. So that's the thing. For Islamic liberal, autonomy is the core, and Islam is just limiting that autonomy. But for Muslim, traditional Muslim and Islamic revolutionary, heteronomy, especially worship and subjugating your will to Allah, that's the core, and everything else is the instrument of that. And what guides how much when you reject or rejecting freedom and autonomy is no problem for us. And equality and freedom and individuality and citizen, they can be some kind of instrumental value if needed, but they are not the guiding principle or guiding value. But practically for Maulana Maududi, they become and for all Islamic liberals, they become the guiding value. And the civilization which emerges is not the Islamic civilization. Islamic liberal civilization, where Islam is an instrument of liberalism, a partial limitation of liberalism, and that's allowed by liberal tradition. And as liberal tradition recognizes, short-term limitations are no limitations in the long run, in a sense. Anyway, we'll stop here and we'll continue from here, inshallah.